Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing my AFL Fantasy Team reveal for round 16. Going through it'll be pretty quickly because I think it's sort of stock standard at this point, a lot of these players. But going through the trades, my thoughts about them and how I could improve, and the way I'm sort of taking a risk here. It is a very, very big risk depending on his role staying the same and could change with team lists, but I don't think it will. But yeah, I'll save the rest of that explanation till later. But before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the analysis. So, Jordan Dawson, D1, pretty stock standard to be honest with you. Let me just check if this is actually, there we go. I made it the right size for once early on. Jordan Dawson, D1, I just hope he goes big. I've had some debate with, or sort of just some conflict whether to go Marshall or Dawson as that captaincy. I don't think it's really going to matter because I think Tim Taranto is going to go 130 and it's going to be like, well, that's the VC that we're taking. And I think that'll be what a lot of the comp takes. So I think it will not really matter too much. But if it does, we'll have that debate basically on Saturday because I'm out all of Friday, and also it doesn't really matter till Saturday morning. Then you've got Doherty, D2. I think this will be a stock standard play for a lot of people that have gone from Yo. I think, even though he wasn't directly, well, he wasn't for me for Yo, but I got him out of Ashcroft. And I think if you look at these trades logically, right, and you think about Ashcroft versus Himmelberg, I think that's relatively even, right? And if you look at, or even if you look at Ashcroft versus Doherty, that is a massive win for me. And then if you look at Himmelberg in terms of Hayden Young, and I think that's relatively equal, probably a little bit in terms of Himmelberg, but I think Hayden Young has that bigger scoring ability, 118, and Himmelberg's in the 90s, I believe, 91. But Himmelberg's got that better role, and I think he's primed to have that big boost game before everyone jumps on. And I do believe his role is set. From what I've heard, yes, I did push back on Twitter with Josh about it. But I think in terms of this, I think now looking at it more in depth, I do think that he has that role. So I do think that is just a better trade in general. So that's why I'm going with it. That's why there's a little bit of risk in terms of if Phil Davis comes back and even plays, let alone they've been playing Nick Haynes off the wing as well. So it looks like that role is set for Himmelberg. I just hope Whitfield doesn't take... I hope they just play kick to kick, honestly, Whitfield and Himmelberg. And Himmelberg takes the kickouts is what I hope happens. Then you got Nick Dacos, D3. This is pretty much should be a stock standard top 5 for most, so I'm pretty sure I don't need to talk about it much. And then Himmelberg or who else is in here? Who else? Sicily when teams come out. But if we look at defenders and we look at percentage owned, Sheasel probably is a lot of people's D6, or Jimby's pretty high owned still. Will Day as well is pretty highly owned, but I think Will Day only has that for another week or two before Sicily comes back. And my plan is, hopefully, with the way I've got it structured up, is that Johnson and Wardlaw can go to Sheldrick and Wilmot, or Wilmot and Windhager can go to all of Laird and Mills, and then after 2 more weeks I'll have enough to be able to trade Himmelberg and probably Windhager or someone else up to the likes of Sicily, and then that'll be the best 6 defenders, and then I'll also have pretty much the best 6 midfielders as well, and then I'll have pretty confident 5 of the best forwards, as I think Keys will also need to be upgraded, but I hopefully can enable that upgrade sometime later on in the season, as he hopefully tracks towards 800k and Long will be at 300 or so k to be able to help Keys out. Then we go into here. Mullen, I hope doesn't get named, as he is a sort of a key part this week in case Wilmot does well, to be able to put him in here and put Himmelberg down here, and then also, because I do have Ireland, who will be, as I expect Chester to play, I'll have Ireland as a emergency, or just well, not emergency, sorry, as just a player on field, as I hope he doesn't play and he can be slotted in, basically. Wilmot is here in case he does well, as I need to keep this emergency midfielder open in case Sheldrick does well, and then I can slot him in, or effectively slot him in, and slot out probably Wardlaw, I'm guessing. He has the tougher matchup, but then again, I'm not too confident with the role that Johnson has. I'm predicting it to be a wing role, as I expect they want to play Aish in the midfield in probably a tagging role, but it won't be a tagging role. It'll be a run with McRae role, I expect. So I expect Johnson to have a wing, and that wing can be deadly, being on a wing. But he's got such a low break even that you can't really trade him out at the moment. So Merritt is pretty stock stand, to be honest. He's playing Port, so won't be a captaincy option this week, but is needed to be playing. Bont is going along really well, 5th best in the comp. So I'm pretty happy that I've got him. Brayshaw, pretty disappointed with some of his efforts. Since I got him in, I'm pretty sure he's gone 100, 109, 129. That's not too bad, but hopefully he can pick up those 120 scores, or at least average 111 with. Has he averaged 111 with me? 112, 113 with me, so not too bad, but we'd rather more consistency with that performance of 115 around also per week. Petrarca, another week without Oliver, so hopefully he goes absolutely huge. Would be really, really good to see him have a game against GWS where he goes and scores 150, 160, as he is very, very low ownership, and I'm hoping he cements that, if he hasn't already with Melbourne, cements that midfield role that he needs to be able to score well. As when he's in the midfield role, he goes up by probably 10 or 15 points. If we look at this, here is him in the complete midfield role. I think he was in a midfield role here, but then if he wasn't really in a midfield role here, and I think North, you can just discount it because he scored 3 goals, 1 and kicked away with them, and Eagles as well. So without a midfield role, sort of that mid-forward role, forward mid role rather than this mid-forward, sort of just flipping 20% or so. His score goes up from around an average of, I reckon, 98, 99 to upwards of around 115. So it's about 15 points upside with that role, because I am discrediting a little bit of West Coast and North being in that bunch, because I don't think he was playing midfield at that time. Then you have Tom Green at M5. Absolutely huge to have him here. I know a lot of people probably have him even M6 or M7. But yeah, having him here is not bad. The 10th highest season rank scorer. We need a little bit of boost out of him, but he's got Melbourne where he could tackle to hell. And then he's got Hawks where he should have a good game. Adelaide where tackling galore should happen. I'd love to see a Laird versus Tom Green matchup. That would be kind of crazy. Suns, he should do well. And then he's got Western Bulldogs. He should do well there. Swans, he'll tackle. Yeah, so he's primed for a good end to the season. But, with Tom Green, he could just get run off the ball, basically, and have to rely on tackling to get to 100. Brad Crouch has been amazing, pretty much, and has the good matchup. And then you've got a tough matchup and then a good run here pretty much until round 22. So I might look at Steele if he does well against the Eagles, as Steele at 800k can go 110 and it looks like he's returning. So Steele might be my M7 next week, and that'll open up a lot of cash to be able to get Laird the week after as well, and then be able to upgrade to Sicily the week after that as well. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. Mills, Laird, Sicily's in the conversation. Also, Cornelius and Butters are in the conversation here, as well as Butters just putting him here. And then also, Mills, obviously Steele, as I just said. Wardlaw and Johnson and Sheldrick and Wilmot are sort of in the same boat, just hoping to get a good score out of them. as getting a good score out of them will really help. Windhager is actually just on here for bench support. I mean, he is playing the Eagles, so maybe I get him. Maybe I put him as the option, but I don't think I can fit him in per se. So he sort of is the unlucky one to miss out, as I do not have a mid forward to be able to run here. So it kind of is unlucky that he does miss out, but in the end, it's not the end of the world. I could put Sheldrick and not take Sheldrick's score and put Windhager here, but I'm just worried about Windhager's role against the Eagles, but we'll have to wait and see what role he gets, as that might be changed tomorrow between Windhager and Sheldrick, but we'll have to see Sheldrick's role as well. And Sheldrick's role could change depending on Mills, so those are a couple factors I'm taking into consideration now that I realised Windhager has the easy matchup against the Eagles where he could kick 5 goals, to be honest. Then we've got 2 top ruckmen here. Marshall probably won't end up with the captaincy, but it's just on him at the moment, as you got Taranto here, as well as me needing to use Euland, as I don't think Mullen will play, to be honest. And then Ramsden is here. I wish I had an ability to be able to put Ramsden in the forward line to be able to move Windhager around, but I cannot at the moment, which kind of sucks. But so be it. Then we move on to Taranto. VC, pretty stock standard. Dunkley, hopefully does well tonight. Goulden, another one that's pretty stock standard in any top team. Rosie, 101 average, so hopefully he can do better than Butters. I'm just hoping that consistently now. Darcy Cameron seems to have returned back to 104 pace. Does have a tough matchup against Wits, but hopefully moving around the ground, he's able to beat Wits up. It is at Heritage Bank, which is a little bit of a slimmer ground, but hopefully he can just get 25 or so hit-outs. 25 hit-outs, 15 to 20 disposals. A lot of tackles will help as well. And then Keys is playing North, where hopefully he can beat up on North, to be honest with you. Put in a 110 performance and get me some good points. As it seems like Keys is 11%, Darcy Cameron is 11%. Then you've got Petrarca here, Himmelberg as well as 4%. So got some pods per se, but I do think that a lot of them are highly owned in the top 1,000 to 5,000 or so range. Then you got Noah Long here, just hoping he can produce some cash, as I'm going to need it later on for the Keys to Butters or Cogs upgrade. And then Windhager, hopefully he can make some cash as well, because that'll be crucial in the upgrading of Himmelberg to Sicily. And then Euland will be I'm putting him here because it is in prime position to be able to change him around quickly as we look at Wilmot's score. And yeah, so that's basically the video there. Going through the trades, etc. I've gone through how I value that trade and how I think it's a win-win in total, as Hayden Young, I just don't see it happening. Doesn't really have a good run as well, so I'd much rather have Doch, guy who's averaging 106 at the moment and is averaging 102 last 3, 108 last 5, and Himmelberg, who's averaging 85 last 3, compared to Hayden Young, who's averaging 73, and Will Ashcroft averaging 75. So that's the video there, and I'll see you guys in the game reviews. I'll probably start it. I might get 1 or 2 out on Saturday, but it might be Sunday that I start them and go through till Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday will be the set of trade targets, etc. Trade targets, round review, team preview as well, this video again, etc, etc. So I'll see you guys in the first game review in a couple of days. Thanks guys, goodbye.